Hi, and welcome back. In modular land, VCAs are crucial tools with many possibilities. I might make a video with a lot of patch ideas for VCAs in the near future, but unlike popular belief, you can't have enough of them. The reason for that is simple. There are many fun alternatives that can be used as a regular VCA, but also offer other creative possibilities. Today, we'll have a look at a few of my favorites. I'll show you how you can use them as a regular VCA, as well as some specific patches. If you'd like to support this video series, or you want to get access to the PDF sheets of the illustrations I use in this and many of my other videos, have a look at my Patreon. As always, you can use the timeline to navigate to specific sections. But now, let's dive right in. Let's start with voltage-controlled polarizers and ring modulators. They both follow the same principle and can easily be used for regular VCA duties, both for audio and CV. Simply put, polarizers and ring modulators work as bipolar VCAs. If you send them a signal without any modulation, for example a unipolar looping envelope, the incoming signal is blocked. Then, if you modulate them with a positive signal, the incoming signal is amplified in a regular way. But if you modulate them with a negative signal, the incoming signal is amplified in an inverted way. So, if you make a standard synth voice with an oscillator and filter, you can use a polarizer or ring modulator as a closed VCA. Then, just send a gate from a keyboard or sequencer to a regular positive envelope and modulate the polarizer like you would a normal VCA. If you like, you can mix the signal of the envelope with offset, so you have manual control over the VCA, as well as the amount of influence from the envelope. For this section, I'll use the Erica Synth's Black Ring X-Fade, a module that keeps growing on me since I got it. I did a more detailed video on this module if you'd like to learn more about it. But for now, it's enough to know it has two independent ring modulator / voltage controlled polarizers here on the top, each with their own input, output and control voltage input. What's more unique about these circuits is that the CV input attenuator seems to crossfade between incoming CV and an open signal. So, for example, using the ring X-Fade in the simple setup I showed earlier, you can use the input CV knob to set the balance between the envelope and open VCA. However, the beauty of this function is that beside using it as a regular VCA, it offers a lot of creative patching possibilities. Let's have a look at a few of them. Used as a ring modulator, you can get interesting audible effects by sending the module audio rate signals and modulating that audio signal with a bipolar control voltage, preferably also audio rate signals. For example, you can feed it a drum loop and add dirt and dust to it by modulating the ring modulator with noise. Similarly, you can distort and break up vocal or spoken word samples by modulating it with a tuned oscillator. Or create more classic ring mod sounds by using two harmonically tuned oscillators in a single melodic patch. I also enjoy using ring modulators in drone patches, using two untuned oscillators with more complex modulated wave shapes or folding possibilities and just a lot of reverb. However, that same bipolar amplification can be used on control voltages as well. So for example, if you feed the function a positive envelope and modulate it with a slow bipolar sine wave LFO, the envelope slowly sweeps between positive and negative. This can create dynamic modulation, for example, when used on a filter in a simple melodic voice. If you use this effect on a tempo synced LFO, you can create interesting rhythmic variations. In this example, a simple 3-step sequence is sent through a polarizer, and then mixed with some offset and quantized again. The resulting 1 volt per octave signal is used to create a simple melodic voice. If you use something like a slow sine wave LFO on the polarizer, you can sweep that sequence from regular to an inverted sequence. Another creative tool that easily doubles as a regular VCA is a crossfader. The concept of a crossfader is simple. You can send it 2 different signals. Let's call them A and B. The module outputs a mix of those signals. A common setup for crossfaders is to output a 50-50% mix of the incoming signals when the module isn't modulated. However, by sending the module a positive control voltage, you can shift the output balance to 100% signal A and 0% signal B. And if you modulate the module with a negative voltage, to a 0% signal A and 100% signal B. Just a quick look at the black ring X-Fade again, because beside the 2 ring modulators, it also has an independent crossfader section here at the bottom, with both an attenuator for incoming control voltages, as well as a knob that sets the initial balance between the 2 incoming signals. And that's all you need for a regular VCA. If you set the output mix to 100% input B, but you don't actually use that input at all, you get the effect of a closed VCA. Now, you can use a unipolar control voltage, like a regular envelope, to change the balance of the mix and allow more of input A to come through. So, with 2 ring modulators and a crossfader, this module can be used as 3 independent VCAs, but also as a very creative CV processor and audio mangling device. Another module I really like is the DEPFA A134-2, a very compact dual crossfader. This module doesn't have any control knobs, but you can set the behavior for each section with a jumper on the back to one of 2 modes. One mode is the one I just explained, where the module outputs a 50-50% mix when it's not modulated, and the balance is shifted to A or B using positive or negative voltages. However, in the other mode, the module outputs 100% of input signal B when it's not modulated. It only responds to positive voltages in the CV input, which gradually changes the output to 100% input A. In this mode, it's easy to use only input A and use this module as a regular VCA. Again though, crossfaders can be used in a million other creative ways, adding a lot of patching possibilities to your system. Here are a few ideas. For example, feed 2 waveforms of the same oscillator into a crossfader, and use a slow LFO to create analog wave morphing. This same trick works when you feed the crossfader different waveforms from a single or even multiple LFOs. In this example, 2 8-step sequences are sent to the inputs of the crossfader. The mix output is sent to a quantizer and controlling the pitch of an oscillator in a simple voice. By sending the crossfader an offset voltage, you can manually crossfade between the 2 melodic patterns and create new sequences in between. Crossfaders can also be used as voltage-controlled 2 input switches. For example, use a fast clock as input A, a slower division as input B, and an even slower division to change the balance. Then there's a voltage control pattern, another module that can easily be used as a regular VCA, as well as a lot of other creative functions. The function is similar to the crossfader, but reversed. It only has 1 input and 2 outputs. The incoming signal is divided 50-50% when the module is not modulated. Positive CV signals can route the incoming signal entirely to output A, and negative signals entirely to output B. For these examples, I'm using Papomi from Metabolic Devices. I also did a full video on this module if you'd like to learn more about its many creative functions. For now though, I just use this upper section as a voltage control panel. It has an input jack, a large knob to manually set the balance between either the left or right output, a control voltage input, and a bipolar attenuator for that input. Similar to the Crossfader, you can use the manual control or an offset voltage if your panel doesn't have a manual knob to set the balance. If you set the Crossfader to send the incoming signal entirely to output B, but use output A as your main output, the panel acts as a closed VCA. Now you can send the panel a positive control voltage to gradually send more of the input signal to output A. And behold, you have a regular VCA. But it offers a lot of additional fun when used to divide an incoming signal over two destinations. For example, use it to divide an audio rate LFO between modulating the frequency of the filter and an oscillator in a single voice. When you use a slow sine wave LFO to sweep the signal between the two destinations, you create interesting moving textures. Or use a single three-step sequence and use something like an LFO or smooth random voltage to divide that sequence over a dual quantizer, controlling two different voices. Of course, you can also use panners to turn a monophonic sound, like a drum loop or synth voice, into a stereo sound. You can either send the panner's slow changing signals, like an LFO, to sweep the audio left and right, or audio rate signals, to create fat sounds with a wide stereo field. Low-pass gates are also fun alternatives to VCAs. However, unlike the other examples, they can't be used as clean VCAs for multiple reasons. I did a full video on low-pass gates recently. In that video, I explained the up and downsides of using a low-pass gate as a VCA for audio and control voltages. So make sure to have a look at that video if you're interested. If you'd like me to dive deeper in any of the other functions I mentioned in this video, feel free to let me know in the comments. Also, make sure to check out the video I did on the Papomi and the Ring X-Fade, because I mentioned a lot of ideas in those videos as well. And if you'd like to see more modular content from me, smash that like, subscribe and bell button. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching and see you next time.